let me ask you, your book, you talk about a number of companies that are investing in this space, and some of
Yep.
those are actually not like the life science company you would expect. Someone like Microsoft look like it's investing in the space. Who are the bigger player here?
Yeah.
Who do you think are going to be the bigger players in the future?
Right. So you mentioned Microsoft. I actually started working on this book while I was finishing up my last book, which I think most people would say is not a good thing to do. But here's what happened. My last book is called The Big Nine, and that is all about the big nine companies that I think control the futures of artificial
Yeah.
intelligence. And weirdly, as I'm doing all of this research, some of those companies also seem to be doing a lot of work in biology, which just it was a big contradiction.
Intriguing. Okay.
Yeah. And it turns out there's a reason for this. And that's because of this field called synthetic biology, which is a sort of interesting Venn diagram between engineering and computer science and design and artificial intelligence and, biology. Turns out one of those companies is actually Microsoft. So Microsoft is doing a couple of very interesting things. One of their labs is working on using DNA as a hard drive.
Okay.
And this seems pretty weird. I get that. But DNA is a wonderful vehicle for storing information.
Okay.
Because it stores our information, right? DNA is part of the operating system for you. And Microsoft has been working on, what could it theoretically store? And so far, they've stored some videos, they've stored pictures. Now, it's not like a regular hard drive.
Yeah. How would you describe like an hard drive that is based on DNA?
Right. So DNA is code, just like binary is code. So rather than ones and zeros, it's ACTG, right? Which are the components that make up long strings of DNA. So if you can write to ACTG instead of 1 or 0, then that gives us some optionality. Now, it's very early days, and they've proven that you can store information inside of genetic information. And I know this is incomprehensible. So
Yeah.
I totally get it, but it has been done. Now, it's not easy to extract the information back out.
Okay.
Yet. Okay. But the better, the question that I had is, why in the hell is Microsoft trying to store,
what's
take
the
nature's
advantage?
hard drive? What is going on? They've got Azure. Like, why bother? Here's what I think is going on. At some point, Moore's law, so Gordon Moore, who posited that, every 2 years, that the components shrink.
It's going to shrink. Yeah.
Right. And Moore's law has basically been holding, but at some point we no longer have the ability to shrink hardware, physical components. The only way to get smaller is to get atomic, right? Is to go to a molecular level. So I think what's happening is the world has a lot of data. We have grand ideas about how interesting things to do with AI and automation, but at some point the compute and the actual hardware isn't going to be able to cut it. So can we engineer new types of computers that are biological? And that is part of what's happening here. And again, it's early days,